I never was a big fan of Grineer Tech. They're a little bit too blunt for my taste. But perhaps the Stubba can change all that. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 7 secondary weapon, the Stubba. As per the usual, I'm gonna be covering a cheap build, something affordable that anybody can build. But of course, we're also gonna have the classic endgame setup with a Riven. That being said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually follow a more new player friendly approach, simply because there's a lot of info here and I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So if you're a veteran of the game and already know most of this stuff, then please, bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Stubba. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that I'm simply gonna be taking a couple of free shots at the wall. You will see that the Stubba has a very interesting recoil. It climbs up but then stabilizes by itself. I'm not touching my mouse, I'm just pressing left click. So all you gotta do is kinda get used to it. When it comes to the accuracy of the weapon, well, let's take a look. As you can see, it's not really there, unfortunately. This is the same accuracy as the fabled Lex Prime, but because this is an automatic weapon, what you can do is kind of go shot by shot. But of course, this is an automatic pistol, so you will be tempted to spray and pray. To be honest, that's the exact thing I do. In any case, let's jump into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is 60 out of 60, and if your Stubba only has 30 out of 30, then jump into actions and install an autokin catalyst. This one can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie. If you don't have access to the daily sortie just yet, progress further through the story and you will. As an alternative, you can pay 20 plat to have one plugged in. Next, my weapon has been formatted a total of 4 times, but this was done mainly for the purpose of testing. For the weapon build I'm recommending you guys, free forma should do it. Keep in mind that the Stubba by default does come with one V symbol or Madurai. You can get this weapon from the Ghoul Purge invasion down on Cetus. It's a recurring event, it's fairly often, so don't worry about it, you are gonna get your hands on the Stubba blueprint. Accuracy is 16.0, and as you saw there, if I go shot by shot, then it's pretty good. If you spray and pray, well, not so good anymore. Crit chance and crit multi are decent at 23% and 1.9x respectively. Fire rate 6.33 with a magazine of 57 and a reload of 1.3. Very little downtime for the Stubba, so we're not really gonna mess with any of these. Riven disposition 4 out of 5, which means that the Rivens will be quite potent, the Stubba not being a very popular weapon. Status chance is only 13%, and this is where the Stubba suffers. If this was at least 18 to 20%, it would have shined a lot brighter. Next, we're gonna talk about the default damage or the IPS on the weapon: impact, puncture, and slash. Slash is the highest, which makes way for a slash build, followed closely by impact and just a little bit of puncture. Keep in mind that all of these will have different procs on the target. For example, if you proc impact, you're gonna get a knockback on the target. Puncture will reduce the damage your enemy deals, and slash will give you a damage over time effect on the target. In any case, let's start slapping on some mods. With Hornet Strike, damage is mandatory on mostly everything. There's something to be said about building the Zakti for condition overload, but other than that, Hornet Strike is a worthwhile addition to any weapon, and if you want to have something to sink your endo in, rest assured that Hornet Strike is the way to go. Next, let's look at other damage options, shall we? Auger Pact is never really a bad idea, 90% extra damage plus the benefit of the set. Unfortunately, I can never really seem to fit this one in my builds since there are almost always better options. I highly recommend you stay away from Magnum Force. This one, fully maxed out, will give you 66% extra damage at the cost of 33% accuracy. Never mind about the accuracy loss, but just 66% extra damage. This mod needs a serious buff. Next, we're gonna go into multi-shot. Multi-shot currently in Warframe is a very big deal, and I recommend you slap as much as you can on any weapon. Barrel Diffusion with 120% multi-shot, as well as Lethal Torrent with 60% multi-shot and 60% fire rate. Now the fire rate can make the weapon just a little bit harder to control, but it will reduce our kill time significantly. So definitely recommend Lethal Torrent. If you don't have this one, keep an eye out for alerts. Usually I pick up 1 or 2 per week, and the price from the trade chat is about 10-15 plat, something around those lines. Next, we're gonna go into crit chance and crit damage, because once again this is where the Stubba kinda shines. So let's go to crit. We're gonna be using Pistol Gambit, and if you guys have Prime versions, then by all means go for Prime versions. Pistol Gambit will give us 120% crit chance, bumping our crit to 50.6, and of course crit chance is nothing without crit damage, 60% crit damage from Target Cracker. Unfortunately, Target Cracker is kinda underpowered on pistols. If there is a choice between getting Prime Pistol Gambit or Prime Target Cracker, I would suggest you first go for Prime Target Cracker and then for Prime Pistol Gambit. Very well, I got my critical chance, critical damage, and multi-shot. What we're gonna do next is go into elemental damage. And elemental damage should always be slapped on a weapon depending on where you're going and who you're fighting. For example, if you guys are going up against the Infested, these guys are fairly weak, but there's a lot of them. So I would recommend AoE weapons heavily modded into heat. If you're going up against Corpus, they have big shields. And against shields, you can build Magnetic, which will deal extra damage, or a smarter approach would be to build Gas, which on a status proc bypasses their shields entirely, or you can just build Toxin. You don't even need a status proc to bypass their shields in that case. Just keep in mind that Corpus sometimes underneath those shields have armor as well. When you're talking about Grineer, these are recognized as being the most toughest targets currently in Warframe, and they have two armor types. They have Ferrite and Alloy Armor. Ferrite is weak to corrosive damage, and Alloy Armor is weak to radiation damage. Against Grineer, more often than not, your safest bet will be to build corrosive damage, which is the elemental combo between electricity and toxin. Let's start with electricity. First of all, you got a choice. Should I go for the 90 mods or for the 60-60 mods? Now, there is a general rule in Warframe, which is not true 100% of the time, but it kind of goes like this. If you're shooting level 100 under, then the 90 mods are a smarter idea. If you're going level 100 plus, then the 60-60 mods are the way to go to get more status procs. Jolt currently is only obtainable from Barrow Kitir, the Void Trader. He comes to us every couple of weeks, and sometimes he brings the electricity mods. When you see him, definitely grab a pair, more than one, so you can sell them later on for a bit of a profit. Currently on the trade chat on PC, this one is going for about 70 plat, something like that. Please check Warframe Market for more accurate prices. I got my electricity. Next we're gonna go to Toxin, and this one is a lot easier to obtain. It's called Pistol Pestilence, 60% Toxin and 60% status chance. This one can be farmed from Corrupted Vor in the Void. From the trade chat, 10 to 15 plat on an absolute max. Very well, I got my corrosive 352. Now let's pause a little bit and take a look at the damages we have on the weapon. Keep in mind that the IPS, the default damage, the impact, puncture, and slash, has a 4 times greater chance of proccing over elemental types such as corrosive. So when you're trying to figure out what exactly will proc first, multiply these by 4. So in actuality, your slash is not 138 when it comes to status procs, it's 520 something along those lines. So in fact, higher than the corrosive. If we leave the weapon like this, for status procs, the order will be slash, impact, corrosive, and then puncture. So you see, it's not a very smart idea to leave it as it is. Now for your last slot, this is what I like to call the option slot. Plug in this one whatever you guys feel comfortable with. Cater each and every weapon to your own individual playstyle. For example, a lot of players like to put on punch through, and for good reason too. Take a look at this one, Seeker. 2.1 meters worth of punch through. That will mean that the bullets will go through my initial target and keep traveling for 2.1 meters. That's a huge DPS increase as long as you have multiple enemies clumped up or they're just lined up Indian file in a line. More often than not in Warframe you will find plenty situations such as this one. That is a option. Here's another one. More crit chance, because why the hell not? Hydraulic Crossers. This one is currently farmable from Lua spy missions. Pavlov is the name of the mission. If you don't know how to do Lua spy missions, if they look a little bit too intimidating, check the link in the card now. Easy way to farm them. All you gotta do is have one limbo. Doesn't even need to be max rank. Hydraulic Crosses will give you 135% crit chance while aiming for 9 seconds. This is a non-headshot effect. Now, if you were to plug Hydraulic Crossers in together with Prime Pistol Gambit instead of the normal version, you will get about a 97% crit chance. Still not 100. Still not there because once again the base crit chance is 23%. This is usually what I recommend to go for. Keep in mind that the Stubba's base status chance is only 13%. Another smart idea would be to further increase your elemental combo with more electricity or more toxin. In my case at least, because I built corrosive. So if I was to add convulsion, I'm gonna get 617 corrosive. Finally, my corrosive is number 1 on the pecking order. It finally overtook slash and impact. So this is a way you can go for. Of course, more crit with hydraulic crosshairs is never really a bad idea. but if you care about what you're proccing, keep in mind the IPS rules. This is our initial build we're going to be testing, so let's spawn in some corrupted heavy gunner. These guys will be level 120. Some real tough targets. Keep in mind that because the AI is paused, they are not taking extra damage from my ranged attacks. There is still a bug in the simulacrum. If you melee attack these guys, they will take a finisher damage. But as it stands now, they are not taking anything extra. So let's go to town to see what kind of status procs are we gonna be getting. I'm gonna empty a full clip in this guy's head, and sadly only 50%. I am getting some slashes on the target, but I'm not building viral so in order to amplify those slashes, so it's not really the best of solutions. As you saw here, this time I did kill a target with bullets to spare. What is the deal? Why is there such a big difference between those two examples? Those are the status procs. If I'm a little bit lucky with more corrosive procs, I'm gonna be able to take out a target with no problem. More often than not, against at least these guys, as you can see, it's really no problem. So more status chance on this weapon, from that 13%, a bit higher to 18, even 20% would have been definitely a godsend. But as it stands now, what I can do is perhaps play into viral damage so I can get more out of the slashes. Now, for secondary weapons, I don't have a mod such as Hunter Munitions to guarantee slashes from crits. Well, guarantee, have a 30% chance to slash from crits. But what I can do is play off the weapon's innate slash value to get some slashes. So let's try that one next and see what kind of results we're gonna be getting. Once again, we are going to be using the 60/60 mods because my slashes come from here, from the weapon's innate slash value. And the only thing I gotta do is swap out Jolt with Cold. And the 60/60 mod for cold is called Frostbite, 60% cold and 60% status chance. Now I no longer need my electricity. What I'm gonna be doing is going into more crit chance with hydraulic crosshairs, just like I said earlier. When it comes to proccing viral, you don't need 100 status applications like you would for corrosive, so you lower the armor more and more. All you need is 1-2 good applications of viral and you're gonna be golden. For the duration of the viral effect, your slashes are kinda gonna be dealing double damage because the maximum health of the target will be reduced by 50%. The problem I take with viral builds usually is the fact that your viral effect can slip off the target, it not die, and you having to reshoot it again, which kinda throws a monkey wrench in the plans. So let's empty one clip on this guy's head. I got 60/60 mods in place. I am getting a couple of slashes on the target, but once again, that base status chance turns around to bite me in the butt. If I don't have a high status chance on the weapon, even though the slash is highest, I'm simply not gonna be getting that much slashes on the target. So for the Stubba, what I'm recommending is a pure corrosive build. Once again, if the status chance was a bit higher, we could have worked a little bit more into bleeds. Next, we're gonna be switching into a Riven setup, and my Riven enables a slash build. Check this one out. Critical damage, slash, and status chance. Now my slash was already highest on the pecking order, but having more slash will basically mean it has a higher chance of it being picked when I proc, and I got that extra status chance as well. I got 78.5% status chance now with the help of the Riven. Just keep in mind that this does include multi-shot. Other than that, the build is pretty much the same. I swapped in the normal versions of Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker for the Prime versions, and let's see now if we can get some slashes out of the Stubba. Honestly, this wasn't planned. This is simply the best Riven I could get after 2 days worth of hunting, so there is that to take into account. Currently, Stubba Rivens are not really expensive. You're looking at 25-30 plat on roll if you are interested in the weapon. Take a look at that. I don't even need to wait for the slashes to kill a target. But with a slash build, what you want to do is shoot a target till about 50%, and let's see if the slashes kill the target. There you go, viral app, plenty of slashes, absolutely bloody beautiful. So yes, it can be made into a slash weapon if this is what you want, if this is the playstyle you desire, it is possible. If I was to recommend, however, a Riven for the Stubba, I would be looking a lot more into critical chance, critical damage, multi-shot damage. These 4 stats from my point of view are top notch. If you're talking about an elemental, usually electricity is the one that is most sought after because it's the most flexible. However, for the Stubba, what I would go for is Toxin. Why? Because it would work with a viral build and it would work with a corrosive build as well. And as you can see, a Riven does make quite the difference. Even with an all over the place Riven such as this one. I think this one is a loaner from a friend, thank you very much. And I did roll it till I was blue in the face. Now that is pretty good. One more thing we gotta do, amp up everything with Warframe buffs, and we're gonna leave the lovely Saren in favor for an even more lovelier lady, Mirage Prime. Now let's see what kind of buffs she's got. First of all, the aura. You have a couple of options. Pistol lamp will get you 27% extra damage to pistols. It's an aura, so everybody in the party will be receiving this benefit, and it is stackable times 4. However, if you know you're gonna fight Grineer, then corrosive projection is guaranteed to give you better results. Keep that one in mind, but pistol lamp will grant its benefit regardless of the target. When it comes to arcanes, these are a lot more impactful. Arcane precision on headshot, 80% chance for plus 120% damage to pistols for 8 seconds. Farmable from the third idle on down on Cetus. As for a price, they are free, currently going for about 120 plat on PC. Check once again Warframe market for more appropriate prices. When it comes to your second arcane, you have a couple of options. First of all, Arcane Awakening. On reload, 40% chance for plus 100% damage to pistols for 16 seconds. You are gonna be reloading quite often with the Stubba, so this one is definitely a worthwhile option, and this one is a lot cheaper as well. Second of all, Arcane Avenger. This is an additive after bonus, so you're gonna be getting that 30% critical chance after everything on your weapon, so keep that one in mind. And your final option will be Arcane Velocity, which will get you fire rate. On critical hit, 60% chance for 80% fire rate to pistols for 6 seconds. Keep in mind that Arcane Velocity mixed in together with the Arcane Awakening synergize beautifully. I'm recommending Awakening together with Precision, but once again, this one is up to you guys. We're gonna be spawning the exact same targets one more time, and for the more scrupulous of viewers, we're even gonna unpause the AI. We're gonna activate Mirage's third ability for a massive damage increase, as well as the clones. We're gonna go for flat headshots, and you will see that the slashes are a lot more beefier now, and I can take out a target in just a couple of bullets. Now the Stubba is an MR7 secondary weapon, which is decent. It's a solid choice for a secondary weapon. It's an automatic pistol, it's not that hard to use once you get kinda used to the recoil. My advice would be to start kinda at the crotch area and then let it climb up to the head. By the time it gets to the head of the target, you should already be stabilized. Decent, solid secondary weapon, but that's pretty much it. It's not gonna win any awards, and it's definitely not gonna make my top 10 secondary weapons of 2018. And with that, I'm gonna call this one done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you have any feedback for me or would like to request a specific weapon review, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. I can't realistically promise you that it will be done by next time or even within a week, but I will be reading through each and every comment. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.